grab a band, I want you to ideally put it around your wrist. Putting it around the hand, most of the time people's grip and forearm will be the thing that fatigues, versus if you put it around the wrist, then you'll notice that the shoulder gets a lot more action. So ideally around the wrist, because we want to load this up pretty heavy, or as heavy as you feel comfortable. So around the wrist, pull out to 90 degrees or perpendicular to your torso, and then step as far out as you can. Comfortably hold that position for 30 seconds at a minimum, up to a minute long. If a minute long is easy, then you need to increase the challenge or resistance of the band, or walk further out so there's more tension. That 30 seconds to a minute time frame is that window that we're shooting for with this exercise. Should feel the outside aspect of the shoulder lighting up, especially as you get closer to that 30 second to 1 minute duration. Next up is the banded palm facing towards your body, isometric out wide. This is going to work your supraspinatus muscle of the rotator cuff. You're going to hold this again for that 30 second to 1 minute time frame. We don't need to go very far away from the torso, so like a 10 to 15 degree angle is all that you need. Again, need to hold for 30 seconds to a minimum. If you can hold for 1 minute, it's not heavy enough of a band. You need to go to heavier resistance. And again, if you can't hold for 30 seconds, then you need to go to a lighter band, either because of fatigue or because of pain. Again, just holding this position for 30 seconds total should feel it light up the outside aspect of the shoulder. Final exercise, we're going to turn and face out away from the band, and we're going to push up into shoulder flexion. Thumb is going to be leading that action, and we're going to hold again for that 30 second to 1 minute time frame. The angle of the arm should be at about 20, 30 degrees, 45 degrees at the most. We don't need to go way up here. We're just kind of going mid-range with this exercise. If this feels uncomfortable at the elbow, then you can always, again, utilize the wrist as your anchor point, and a lot of times that's more comfortable. It takes the forearm, wrist, elbow out of the equation. Holding for that 30 second to 1 minute time frame, you should feel the front of your shoulder loading up with tension here. Again, if pain or discomfort limits you, go lighter in the band because we have to get to 30 seconds minimum. If it's easy to hold for a minute, then we need to go heavier with the resistance band. So that 30 second to 1 minute window time frame. Now I need you to know why isometrics are so useful. So if we view this drawing here as the striations of the muscle, because muscle is layered and it has these different striation patterns. So if we say just this portion of the tissue right here is what's compromised, which is commonly the case, it's not the whole entire muscle, it's just various different points of strands of that muscle tissue that is compromised. So what the body will do when it's in pain or when there's a compromised tissue, it will choose to use the healthy portion tissue. So it's going to use these striations right here and avoid loading the compromised tissue. That's useful in the short term because it allows you to stay active and stay doing things, but it's harmful in the long term because we never actually build capacity back up of this tissue. So in order to load that tissue, we have to achieve a time under tension of at least getting beyond 30 seconds of tension through the muscle. This is why isometrics are so useful, and we use that window of 30 seconds to 1 minute hold of an isometric, because what will start happening is these striations will start fatiguing out and the body will start utilizing this tissue or that striation that is compromised a little bit more, and now we have equal distribution of all the striation of the muscle tissue. And this is why isometrics are so useful in recovery, and why we want to include them in any rehabilitation plan is because it helps load the compromised tissue more directly to build strength, capacity, endurance, all those qualities that we're looking for back up again.